Surprisingly, a lot of NBA news has happened in the last week for a off season that was, I guess, part of the season that is pretty quiet normally.
Yeah, I think
Um,
August into now, early September is for sure. I mean, unless there's Olympics and
yeah,
FIBA,
yeah, yeah.
things like that. Like,
Right.
and FIBA, honestly, full disclosure, FIBA and Immaculate Grid have really kept us afloat. So shout out to those guys. And we will get into both of them eventually a little bit. But yeah, we got a jam-packed episode. Christian Wood signing with the Lakers, which of course happened one day after we dropped our last podcast, which is
Yeah.
classic. A rather unfortunate Kevin Porter Jr. update, scumbag alert, if we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
And of course, the rule changes. We got a little bit potentially floating as well in terms of sitting guys, load management. That could be voted on as early as this week. So, but
I
I
think
mean,
actually they might have been voting on it today, if I remember correct. I feel like I saw that they were going to vote on it on
well, by the time we
Tuesday.
record next episode, we will have a definitive answer on it.
Right.
I think with sometimes with the timestamps, it is what it is. But
Well, and it's still fun to debate what they should do, even
yeah,
though they go a certain direction or whatever they do. But we start every episode off with the Immaculate Grid. And it's worth mentioning that we do a video version of the podcast on YouTube where you can watch us. Just search Drive and Dish NBA. Obviously, for the podcast portion where we're just chatting, it's still a fun watch. But the Immaculate Grid part, there's a bit of trivia that you can be watching along and kind of
yeah.
playing along. We'll do our best to describe it for the podcast as well.
Yeah, we always try to get you through it as much as possible, but and in that regards, we'll start from the
There we
top.
go.
The columns from left to right are the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Los
Mm.
Angeles Lakers, and 20 points a game per season. And then the rows
Whoa.
down, you've got Memphis Grizzlies, you've got the Sixers, and you've got 5 assists a game per season. I'm telling you, and I didn't tell you this ahead of time, but I know 2 answers right off the rip, and I'm going to use them. Not now, but the bottom two. I've been watching Winning Time, I guess is where I'm trying to go with this. Like, I'm all caught
Okay.
up. I watched the first season. I'm all caught up on this season. The finale is next Sunday, I believe. So maybe next episode I'll have some more thoughts on that. But definitely been pretty entertaining so far. But that has me in a winning time mode. So let's start. I'm gonna go with the bottom corner first. For 20 points a game per season and 5 assists a game per season. The centerpiece of winning time. I guess co-centerpiece of winning time, but Dr. Jerry Buss, of course, pretty well mentioned there as well. But the one and only Magic Johnson.
Yep. I like it. No, and only
4%.
4%.
Okay, good. I'm
It's
happy about that.
probably, because like the first, like in my mind, I think like LeBron, I think like Westbrook, Harden, like guys that are still playing. So maybe that's why
Yeah, there's a
Magic's
lot of options for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, even the 20-point per game season, we could go Harden, but I feel like we might be able to find a more like a lesser percentage player. There's definitely a few.
Yeah, I mean, Harden in terms of the Sixers, I think will be lower. The two highest percentage
Maybe.
ones to me will be Embiid and Iverson.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
then
agree.
Harden's there now, so I think Harden is there, of course. Jimmy Butler was recent. That's an answer.
Jimmy
Um,
Butler might be low key a low percentage.
well, it's either that or do you want to go old school? Like, I mean, Julius Erving,
Yeah.
I think might be a lower percentage. He'll be there.
Who do you think's lower? Probably Irving, honestly, because I feel like younger people are probably playing this game more.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think that too. I would love if there's a group of boomers playing Immaculate Grid right now. We can come back to that one in a little bit because that one, and I mean, Memphis is the same way. Like Memphis, I have multiple people in mind.
Yeah.
Um, I think the one that everyone will get right now is probably John Morant. But
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the big four, you got a couple options there, but we'll come back to that. I do want to go one, and I know this one will be lower, but stick with the winning time theme right away. And I promise I won't say another word about this show. For the Lakers and 5 assists per game, do Norm Nixon.
Norm Nixon. from 78 to 89.
Yeah, won 2 championships with the Lakers in
There
80
you
and
go,
81.
3%.
Yeah, yep.
3%.
And his
Can
son's
we
playing Norm on,
Okay.
Winning Time, and that's the last thing, I swear, but
I don't wanna open a wound, but do we think Andrew Bynum would count for Sixers Lakers?
oh my god, oh god, I don't know because he didn't play any games, and
He
that's
didn't play, but he was on the
it.
team.
With the Cavs, that would work too. I mean, it doesn't match with this
Oh,
row
yeah.
because he did actually play games with the Cavs. I mean, you're right, he was on the roster. Um, if we could reset it afterwards, because like that is a weird technicality, but I don't want to base our grid
No,
on it.
we'll just have to go back and check because honestly,
That is one of the funnier answers. You're right.
who was a player that was traded in that trade? We could probably just use whoever went to the Lakers then, right?
Oh, that was a 4-way. So
Oh,
it
right.
was, oh man, that was all over the place. Jeez. Iguodala went to Denver. He was the
Yep.
other probably biggest piece in that trade. Um,
Yeah, who ended up in LA? Was
God,
it
I don't remember. I have a couple for Sixers and Lakers. The two recently are Danny Green
Oh, yeah.
and Dwight Howard.
Oh, Dwight Howard's a good one, yeah.
I think Dwight might be rare, though Danny Green will be pretty rare too, because I don't think people associate him with both of those teams right away.
I don't, which is surprising because Dwight Howard, I mean, well, did he have 2 stints, or was the first
Dwight
one
had 2
blocked?
stints with the
Yeah.
Lakers. Yeah, he of course
Yeah.
the one with Kobe, which ended horribly, but
Right,
then he
right,
also
right.
won a title. I mean, technically he had 3 because he won the title there, went to the
Yeah.
Sixers, and then went back again.
Yeah.
One more time before going over for Taiwan. So that's one that stands out there.
Drummond? Did he?
So I was going to use Drummond for I feel like Drummond played for the Lakers, but I was going to use Drummond for the Cavs and the Sixers because that's a super rare one, I
Oh,
think.
yeah, okay.
He had that brief stint because I think he was only with Cleveland for half a season.
Should we okay, so should we hold on, should we do some of these? Should we do Drummond,
Yeah.
Sixers, Cavs?
Let's do because I think that one's definitely rare. Danny Green would
Okay.
actually work there too.
Do you wanna switch them out or you wanna go
No,
Drummond?
absolutely not. Do Drummond.
Okay, 13%.
13 is way more than I expected for
Yeah,
that,
I
honestly.
same. So then you wanna go Howard for Lakers, Sixers?
I think Howard's probably rarer than Danny Green. So yeah.
26. Wow, okay.
All right,
Okay.
26. We'll have to check I guess they don't give percentages for everyone. That is unfortunate.
No, they don't, but still, it gives you an idea of who else was an option.
I've got a fairly rare one, I think, for Cavs 5 assists a game per season. LeBron's
Okay.
the obvious one. Kyrie also is another obvious one. Darius Garland right now. Colin Sexton recently.
Can we go Ricky Rubio?
Ricky Rubio.
Oh, hold on. Does Delly work?
I don't think Delly had 5 a season. I don't think Delly didn't start.
Yeah, I know, but with
Delly's a mean player. Don't give in to the mean player. What I was thinking was Andre Miller, honestly. Andre Miller,
Oh,
I was going to go
wow.
way back kind of in the
Oh, wow.
like archive bag.
You think J.R. Smith would work? No.
Nah.
Right? He wouldn't have had 5.
I mean, he was playing the 2 and he was playing with LeBron and Kyrie a lot. Like those two have the ball in their hands primarily.
Kevin Love?
No way.
No way.
Not
right?
enough to justify it. I mean,
Yeah.
he could very well, but I wouldn't bet on
I
it.
feel like Rubio would be a weird, sneaky one.
So you don't want Andre Miller, is what you're telling me.
I do want to go Andre Miller because I'm not positive about Rubio, right? But I feel like 5 for Rubio is pretty easy, right?
No, 5 for Rubio is easy, and he didn't even play a full season.
I don't know. I'm worried about it. We can go with yours. We can go with yours because I don't want to be the one to get it wrong.
I'm really thinking here. Like I'm turning the gears a little bit because he was great that year he started there.
Rubio?
Yeah, he was.
Well, yeah. And he would benefit if he got injured halfway through the season and was already at 5 assists a game, then I guess then it happened, right?
You know, you're talking me into it with the injury. Go ahead with Rubio. I'm fine with Rubio.
Rubio?
Yeah, because if he's gonna have, I think the first season he started there, and I think that's enough. If he was starting, he'll for sure have 5 assists.
I hope you're right. Yes. Okay.
There we go. Okay, 5%. Sick. That is a good one.
5%. That's a good one.
All right.
All right. So to reset for the podcast, we still need Grizzlies, Cavs, Grizzlies, Lakers, Grizzlies 20 points per game in a season, and then 76ers 20 points per game in a season. So got 4 spots open.
I know 2 of these without thinking too much.
Okay.
The Sixers,
Gasol.
3 of them, really. I know 3 of them. The one I have to think about is Cavs, Lakers. For Lakers, Grizzlies, you could do either of the Gasol brothers.
Yep. You mean Cavs, Grizzlies is the one you have to think of, right?
Cavs, Grizzlies, the one you think about. Yeah. The Lakers, you could do either of the Gasol brothers. You could do.
I feel like we had that recently. Which one was did we go with Mark because we thought it was like
Mark
lesser?
will be rarer, I think. I mean, Powell was winning titles with Kobe.
Yeah.
And Powell won Rookie of the Year in Memphis, too.
Is there another player other than the Gasols?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm trying to remember who else is in those trades. Oh
man, I don't remember.
Well, I'm running through their role players right now. I mean, Zach Randolph didn't play.
Did Varejao ever end up on the Grizzlies?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Spencer Hawes?
No, I don't know.
He was definitely on the Cavs at one point, wasn't he?
Was he? I don't know.
I think he was. I don't know. Such a random person.
All right, we got to start reeling some of these in.
Okay, should we just go with one of the Gasol brothers for Lakers?
I feel like Mark is the lower percentage one.
You want to go with it?
Yeah, I mean either one works. Obviously,
Marcus Camby. All right, here we go.
Yep,
35. Okay,
yeah, maybe
our highest. Our highest so far.
That's good that's our highest so far. That bottom row is Money in the Bank, all being single percentages. I'm still over Andre Drummond being 13% for the Cavs and the Sixers. I did not see coming.
Yeah, right. I guess, I don't know.
All right, so 20 point a game per seasons. I mean, well, we used Marc Gasol. We can't do that for the Grizzlies, so that can't be there. I mean, Ja Morant's the easy one. It's going to be a high percentage.
Would Mike Conley work?
I think I'm not 100%, but I would think he had 20 there.
I would think so too, right?
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, Desmond Bane might work if we're talking about guys right now.
Yeah, did he have 20? Was Bane 20? Or was he like 18 or 19 a game?
I don't know. I mean, Conley feels like the better guess. I mean, he's not a high scorer, though.
I know. That's what I'm worried about.
I mean, Ja Morant is the we're going to get this right answer.
Yeah.
Desmond Bane is the we're probably going to get this right again answer.
What about Julius Randle?
Julius Randle was never what? Julius Randle was
never not Julius Randle. No, who am I thinking of? Not Julius Randle. Part of the big three. It was Marc Gasol.
Zach Randolph?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I think Randolph is an easier. To me, Randolph is behind like Ja Morant in terms of the highest one that everyone's going to get. I mean, he definitely had over 20. Like to me, Ja's number one in terms of it's definitely that. Randolph, I'm right there too. Like Randolph is for sure cracking that to me. Conley, I'm a little less sure about, but I'm pretty sure had to sneak 20 at least one season.
Right?
Like he played enough.
Had to.
Desmond Bane, again, he's only played 3 seasons, but 2 of them have been pretty good. And I definitely think last year he probably had 20.
He's got to be close.
I
want to go Conley. I just don't feel confident about it.
No, just go it, man. Trust your gut. I trust it on Rubio. I think Conley got it 1 year.
Oh, I hope you're right.
At least one.
Okay.
And 8% too. Wow.
Holy moly. Okay. So we have 20 points per game in a season for Sixers, which we already have layup option. And then Grizzlies Cavs. We still need to find that connection.
Man. You want to hear something crazy?
What?
I'm literally looking it up right now that he's safe.
Mike
Conley.
Yeah.
Averaged 1 season, or he had 20 points per game for Memphis. One season.
What season was it?
2016, 2017, he had 20 and a half points. Actually, just kidding. My bad. There's 2. My bad. I misread. False alarm. Either way,
but
he had 21.1. That's his career high in 2018, 2019. He had 20 and a half a game in 2016, 2017. That's the only time. He's flirted with it a couple of times, like always around 17 at least, usually. Hasn't been in a few years. He hasn't been at 16 since 2020. So yeah, that was close. I mean, Sixers, Harden is easy now. Embiid is easy now. Iverson is easy now. I mean, Irving will have less. Dr. J will have less for sure. I think Moses Malone probably averaged 20 the 1 year he was here. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain definitely is another. I mean, Wilt feels like an easy one just because his numbers are so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you tell me, what are you thinking?
I think Jimmy Butler would be one that
you really love hanging on the edge here.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking Jimmy and Harden are ones that, like, you don't associate them necessarily with the Sixers as much.
No, definitely not. I mean, Harden's no question. Like, Harden,
Right.
he did it last year.
You think Jimmy did it? He did 20. He had to have, right?
Did he do it with us? That's the question. Is like,
right. I forgot they do it differently.
No. If this was just in general, like the old crossover grid was, I would have for sure told you to put Jimmy already. But I don't know that Jimmy averaged with us. He's real close, dude, because his regular season stats stink. We talk about that, or not stink, but it's not the Jimmy. Like, I don't know. I don't. I've let us hang on the fence one, but I'm going to overrule you here. I think I'm not willing to risk it on Jimmy for this.
Okay, so should we just go with Harden then?
I want to go somebody older and play the percentages. I feel like you do either Moses or you do Dr. J. Dr. J was with us for way more years though. Do Moses Malone.
Moses Malone.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on the wrong. Hold on, that would help if I was on the right thing. Maybe. Why am I? Hold on. Sorry, my thing's confusing. Here we go.
There we go.
Moses Malone. Bam. 7%. Good call.
Nice. Okay.
Good call. So,
all right.
I know one. Kevin Love.
I think I know one too, but who's the one you have?
Kevin Love. Definitely did both, right?
Wait, Kevin Love? No, he didn't. When was he on the Grizzlies?
Remember, he had to have been on the Grizzlies.
No, he wasn't. Kevin Love was on the Timberwolves and the Cavs. That's it. And then he just until last year with Miami.
I could have sworn I remember. I don't know why I remember him in the. Maybe I'm getting him confused. You right? Okay. Yep. Okay. You're right.
No, I think we may round it out. We've kind of been talking about him. I feel like we got to use him at some point. Danny Green was on Memphis. I think he was. I feel like I'm hoping they don't, because I think he was injured. So I'm hoping they don't do us dirty. Yeah. I mean, I know he was on Cleveland for sure, 100%. And I know he was part of Memphis as a trade. I don't know. No, you know what he did? He suited up for sure. Ended on Danny Green. Let's go 9 for 9. Keep the streak going. I feel Green. Good. And we're right around our 18-minute time limit, what we try to do with the grid too. So yeah, I'm calling game here right now. And I'm gonna look real stupid if I get this wrong. But
I was just trying to think of what's his name? 3-point shooter. He was on the Heat, and then he went to the Cavs, right? He followed LeBron. Miller?
Mike Miller?
Didn't he go to the Grizzlies at one point? Or am I on crack?
I think he did. I don't think he's on the Cavs. Did he follow?
I thought he followed him, right?
I'm not confident enough to
Danny
bet
Green.
on it.
Danny Green.
I think Danny Green is it. I think we close out on Danny Green.
We just go Danny Green and get a win. A rarity score of 123 though. Holy moly.
No, that was good. Honestly, I think Danny Green will not heavily be used for that. I'd like to see what our can you X out and see our percentage? But we can at least 22. See the bottom. Okay. Can you pull up our stats and we'll see the most popular answers for each?
Most Mike Miller.
It was Mike Miller. Okay. Damn, good for you. I didn't think he followed the Cavs. I knew the Grizzlies I was 100% on. There was no doubt about it there.
Kyle Korver for the Cavs 76ers most popular is interesting.
That is interesting too, but that makes sense. Korver's a fan favorite.
Westbrook is the most popular bottom corner for a 20 points, 5 assists game.
I think Mr. Triple-Double, man, it makes sense. Magic being there makes sense for the Lakers. Kyrie for the Cavs.
Dude,
makes all the sense in the world. Oh yeah, no, we smoked.
We were way up there.
That was like clinical.
Wow.
Well, because we knew a bunch of them and didn't do the obvious ones. Like I knew Powell would be more.
I'm so bummed Chris Anderson worked for the Grizzlies. I've been trying to get him to work the last 3 episodes.
Oh yeah, I know. We need a Denver Miami crossover real bad.
Danny Green, yep. Tim Frazier,
Denver Miami crossover. That's where Iguodala could work too, which is I don't think anybody would get that one as much.
Some good ones for Grizzlies Cavs. I mean, you got Tim Frazier, Jay Crowder, Ryan Hollins, Jeff Green, Seth Curry, Ed Davis, Maurice Spates.
Seth had so many where he bounced around in the G League. Like I almost forget
know.
about, and like recently, I know all the teams he's been on recently. But yeah, Seth had so
Wayne
many. I'll forget
Ellington.
about like little 10 games with.
Yep. Wayne Ellington's on that list
And he's
too.
somebody like that too, Wayne Ellington. So
I'm surprised that the most player connections is actually Cavs 76ers.
yeah, I
in
mean,
this.
I'm sure a lot of guys that I probably forgot about over the years, but
Well, here I'll tell you: Andre Drummond, Seth Curry, Danny Green, George Hill, Alec Burks, Justin Anderson,
Burks,
Nick
yeah.
Stauskas. Wow, Tim Frazier, JaVale McGee. I tried to make him lyric last. Spencer Hawes. That's who I was thinking of.
You did no, you said Spencer Hawes. You did get Spencer Hawes. Okay,
he was
all right.
an option. Yeah,
I knew
2014.
Obviously, I remember him playing for us. I'm not gonna lie. Once he left, I kind of lost track of Spencer Hawes for a little
Andre
bit.
Miller.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. We would have loaned him for the left. That would have made sense for the Sixers Cavs. You're right.
Yeah.
Either way, definitely
Spencer Hawes. That would have been the move right there.
yeah, we did good. I mean, that definitely probably would have been lower. Either way, yeah, that really good rarity score. Definitely starting things off on a high note here on the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Kuzart.
Just happy to be here. Forgot to get a player tweet. I was too excited for the Immaculate Grid, man.
No, we're on a roll. We got 3 out of 3. We haven't missed in a while, especially now that we 100% know what the rules are. I feel like one of our not that I'm still bitter about that or anything.
A little bit.
Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. We'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
And you can find us on YouTube, like we talked about earlier. Watch the video version of the podcast. And thank you to Gio. The last few weeks has been commenting on our videos. So we obviously always make a point to comment back and chat with you. So if you want to be subscriber number 63, you can hit us up on YouTube. Just search Drive and Dish NBA.
Now, a word from our sponsors.
So if you are on Google and you type in FIBA World Cup and hit enter, it'll come up and there'll be some German colored fireworks going off on the screen.
Yeah, you will. Big congrats to Germany beating Serbia in the FIBA World Cup. Yeah, the United States.
I kind of hold on. Well, I feel like there is a video version of the podcast. Like I probably should just show it happen, right? Like we shouldn't just not do it. Ready?
What are you showing, the highlights or are you showing the fireworks?
The fireworks, man.
Oh,
it's super easy. Ready? Hey, ready? Hold on. I'll hit enter again. Go. Hey, firework! Wait, hold on. They do the flag.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Okay, I see what you're talking about. That's what's up.
Yeah,
yeah. Congrats to Germany. FIBA World Cup champs. Dennis Schroeder, obviously the main guy there, leading the way as he did in most of these games. But I mean, 28 points coming up big when they needed him to. Franz Wagner, 19 points, 7 rebounds. Just continuing an excellent tournament for him. And yeah, give Germany credit, give Serbia a lot of credit too for getting to this point. I mean, this is not their best lineup by any means. I mean, obviously, number one, Nikola Jokic, the reigning defending champ, did not play at all. Bogdanovic led the way for 17. They didn't have both Bogdanoviches. I think that's the correct plural of that. But either way, to be as undermanned as they were and get to that point to take out a team as potent as Canada was and filled with NBA talent. And I mean, Canada showed it, the United States, an abject disaster, not even meddling at all. Canada taking them out in the third place game. Crazy firework highlights at the end of that, keep with the fireworks theme. The USA with a prayer to tie that game off the missed free throw. But, Canada just proven to be a little too much in the third place game. Dylan Brooks, 39 points. I mean, what a performance. After the miserable summer that he has, I mean, that definitely has to make him feel good going into the season. And just, in general, he said it was good being around guys that, really welcome his contributions, that weren't quite as worried about the controversy and just kind of focus on basketball a little bit. For the U.S., yeah, it was a disaster. I mean, look, I know you don't take your best team, but to me, too, there were lineup questions as well. And for Steve Kerr, to not go double big, it seems like in hindsight, when they were just getting killed in the interior the way they were in that game against Germany, especially when Jaren Jackson Jr. largely played better at the 4 during the season with the Grizzlies. Like, we saw how much success the Grizz had putting him next to a guy like Steven Adams. You had Walker Kessler basically stapled to the bench. You didn't even try it out. Like, I would have liked to see them make that adjustment a little bit more. And shooting was good, and he carried them for most of the tournament. He just, unfortunately was cold at the wrong time. Austin Reeves got torched defensively. Like, defensively, the effort just wasn't there. I guess that's the biggest thing, is that, they got bullied on the boards, and it showed.
And it seemed to be a reoccurring theme that they were always playing from behind.
Mm-hmm.
And just like kind of relying on the raw athleticism to just get back. And that'll work, obviously, a good amount of the time, but clearly not all of the time. And so, it ended up haunting them in the end, I guess, is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. And I mean, FIBA's a different game than the NBA game too. And I mean, maybe that shows a bit in the lineups of the teams that got there. I mean, with Germany, like we said, we mentioned Franz, you mentioned Schroeder, Daniel Theis has played a lot of NBA minutes, Mo Wagner's in the league. But it's not like they're super loaded with the amount of NBA guys the way that the US and Canada have. Same thing with Serbia. Like we mentioned, only a couple of NBA guys on that roster. Look, I mean, the USA didn't send their best, but to me, they left a lot on the table as well. And so that's unfortunate. The good news, if you're Team USA, is that this feels like it relit the fire, which, I mean, the Olympics and FIBA are treated differently. Like, I think that kind of goes without saying. The 2024 Olympics are in Paris. Like, they always get that allure of winning an Olympic gold medal, I think brings more of the high caliber guys out. And I think we're already seeing that, because LeBron James is apparently spearheading this movement of guys that are going to play already and announce their, eligibility. Among them, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Anthony Davis. So, kind of the usual suspects that are tied to LeBron. But yeah, I mean, instantly you go, yeah, okay, we get those 5 guys in the lineup this year, and you're looking at an entirely different tournament. So I think that has to make you feel good if you're USA basketball as a whole, for the organization, knowing that, look, guys still value this. Like, they want to go out, they want to win the gold medal. For LeBron, of course, I think this is the last time he'll probably do it. For KD and Steph, though, I think you could maybe say the same thing. So, the march towards Paris is officially on.
Do you think it's like from the other teams, it's just like, oh, damn it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you got to do? If the best of the best for the US comes out and plays, like, you would think they would win it, right?
Yeah, but I think you also think the best of the best come out for all these other countries. Like, you think Nikola Jokic is sending the Olympics out?
No, you might be right. Then everyone gets a little amped up. I could see that.
The gap is narrowed for sure. And I mean, we've been saying this over the course of the podcast. So the gap has been narrowing, like, between the international teams and the US. And the US is certainly not invincible. We saw that back in 2004. I know that's almost 20 years ago, but that was a thing at one point, a team full of NBA guys that got beat. I think FIBA shows that, I mean, this was, because like we said, this was, sure, you could argue this was our C team, but you could say that for some of the other countries as well, and they still went out and got it done. So I don't think there's an excuse for it. It's definitely a disappointing performance. I mean, what else is there to say? And give credit to the Germans for taking advantage of it. Like, they came out and handled business. And, obviously you saw Dirk was fired up. Like, it's a big moment for the country.
Yeah, and obviously, congratulations to them again, as Google celebrates with fireworks. So make sure you Google it so you can see that for yourself at some point. Now, something else that came out yesterday that we were kind of floating around a little bit is the competition committee recommending stricter guidelines on resting players for nationally televised games. Which I guess boils down to like multiple stars resting in the same games and stuff like that. The NBA in this suggestion or recommendation would have the ability to hit them with bigger financial fines and for violating these rules and stuff. Like, what is your thoughts on it?
I mean, we felt like it was going this direction anyway. Like, the load management hit its peak last year, right? Like I don't like they can only do it for national games. Like I think that's a
Right.
disservice. Like
I think it just be
if it's
for
going to be
everything.
yeah, if it's going to be about the fans, it should be everywhere. It shouldn't just be the ones that happen to be broadcast on ABC at Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Like I think
Right.
that's a little disingenuous. But yeah, I mean, look, NBA tickets, like everything else, are more expensive than ever. It is a little bit disheartening when you have guys just blatantly sitting out. Like I think there needs to be an element of load management. Like it's an 82 game season for contenders. I understand it. Like I'm not going to fault guys, as they get older for sitting out games. Like it is
Right.
part of it.
Right.
I don't think it's going to entirely go away. But yeah, I do think these coordinated efforts of sitting 2 to 3 stars at a time, like there is something that it just feels like it's taking away from the integrity a little bit. Like I know the regular season doesn't always matter for some of these games, but like we said, these are you've got fans who are coming out, they're paying their hard-earned money. Like it hurts the product. Like if you're
Yeah.
trying to sell the regular season product and you have guys sitting out, I mean, you had these injury reports last year where you'd have 5 stars potentially sitting out in some of these nationally televised games. Like it's just a bad look on the league for everybody. Again, there's going to be an element of rest. There's an art to that. But yeah, I think this is the NBA stepping in and saying, hey, you got to at least play ball a little bit with us here.
Yeah, and to that, Woj tweeted out that under these new rules, teams would be fined $100K for the first violation, $250 for the second violation, and then $1 million or more than the previous penalty for each additional violation going forward. So it could add up pretty quick if you're not gonna, abide by the potential rules, or you got a player that's trying to rest.
Yeah, no, I mean 100%. I mean, I think we'll see a pretty instant change if this gets approved. For what it's worth, a lot of the younger guys have spoken out and said they like playing and want to keep playing, and that they're
Yeah.
not trying to load manage. So, it just got to be too bad of a look for the league. That's what this all comes down to. Like, it is a major optics issue.
So yeah, and I agree, and you don't want a nationally televised game. Like, you just feel like we're saying the same thing, but you don't want a nationally televised game of Lakers versus Warriors and Draymond Green, Steph, Clay, LeBron, AD are all sitting. It's like, well,
It
then
should,
what the hell are we doing?
well, it should be all of them. That's my only point, I guess, or
Right.
gripe is it just
Right,
should
right,
be
right, right.
nationally televised games. Like it should be all of them. I'm not going to just, if they're on the road in Memphis, just because it's not on TNT, yeah, I'm gonna feel a way of Ja, Desmond Bain, and name the big 3 Warriors you just did are all sitting, and your fans have paid for that. Like we said, the price of everything is higher than ever. So
Another just because I'm on his Twitter, I was pulling up Woj's tweets just because I'm on there about an hour ago. An interview with Dre went live where he talked about this coming season being the most important of the year. And I guess alluded to it being part of getting Chris Paul his first ring, which is interesting. So I don't know.
that'd be a
I don't know.
wild.
It's
I
just
mean, look, hey, they got to get
yeah,
along, and part of that, I mean,
yeah,
Chris and Draymond have not ran from it and not disliked each other, but I mean, weirder pairings have worked. Like we saw Russ and Pat Bev be able to coexist for a little bit. I didn't think that was remotely possible. Even Rondo and LeBron. I mean, look at how hostile Rondo and LeBron were at one point, and then they
yeah,
go out and they win the title together in
yeah.
2020 and just praise each other the entire time. So, look, things can change. Obviously, I would like to see a change in that context. They're on the same team. You hope you're not. I
Yeah.
mean, you hope they had enough fighting last year. Like, I don't think they need any more of that in the locker room.
That would
Um,
be crazy if you go 2 years in a row of that.
Speaking of the Warriors, let's go to their team that knocked them out last year, their nemesis, the Los Angeles Lakers, who signed Christian Wood. That was the big pickup because Christian Wood was the biggest free agent out there still that remained unsigned. And I think that alludes to something that you and I, Justin, talked about a little bit before the episode, is that I don't think anyone has a real consensus on what exactly Christian Wood is, whether he's good, whether he's not. Certainly the potential is there. Like you mentioned, this is a guy who has scored over 20 points in an NBA season for the entire season.
He could have been if the Rockets were a team on that Immaculate Grid, he would have counted for that 20 point plus points per game in a season.
Yeah, I mean, he was 21 and basically 10. I mean, 9.6
Yeah.
in Houston that year. The next year, he had 17.9 and 10. He had 16 and 7 with Dallas last year. So you look at the counting stats and go, hey, what is everybody talking about? But the defense has left a little bit to desired, which I feel like is saying it kindly. Like, there's a large amount of, like, it kind of speaks volumes, right? That he hasn't been signed until this point. Like, this is one of the major guys left out there. And it has essentially become the Lakers taking a flyer deal. Now, I'll get into why I think it makes a lot of sense for the Lakers in a second. But for Christian Wood, I do think this is the perfect litmus test because I look at his career. I mean, a lot of 10 days and bouncing around early on. I mean, really, his first long stint was with Detroit in 2019, 2020, where he played 62 games. He's 27 years old. I don't know. We're going to see what he is, but he hasn't really played any meaningful basketball. Dallas, we thought was going to, but they were a disappointment last year. His 2 years in Houston, they weren't really contending.
Oh, and
Obviously,
I
that
would
first year in
I
Detroit,
would
they weren't.
and I would argue the Dallas disappointment is partially on him. He was brought in to be that next guy. After Dallas made some changes, they kind of bet on him a little bit. So
Right. And we mentioned how all over the place they were defensively, and Christian Wood actively contributed to that. So
yeah.
I do think, in a way, this is a bit of a prove it year for him because, like we said, he's going to come on to a team that made the conference finals last year and be asked to make some sort of impact. And he can get a
But it's
big pay
just
if he goes out and does that.
and it's just odd, you talk about a guy, you tell me there's a guy in the league that's averaging almost 15 points per game and over 7 rebounds a game, and is younger. You'd be surprised, or I would be surprised if you told me he's only been on a team for he's never been on a team longer than 2 seasons, and that's only been with the Rockets, which is like, what? What? A guy who's putting up that number, that's at least a try to take a flyer on him and keep him on the team longer and see if you can work with that. But it is weird to see. So, to that, the Lakers grabbing him, it does feel sneaky good, and you can play him behind AD and give AD a little bit of rest. And if AD gets hurt, you still have a guy who seemingly can come in and at least, you know, match a little bit of that intensity.
Yeah, and that's kind of my thing is like, and that's why I think this works for the Lakers too, is he just cleans up a lot of, like, they have the ability to clean up a lot of what Christian Wood isn't good at. And by
Yeah.
that, I mean defense. Like you said, when
Mhm.
you've got Wood playing with Anthony Davis, arguably the best defensive player in the league when he's healthy, that can give you a lot of leeway. Lakers half court offense was kind of mediocre last year. I think they were 18th overall, I believe. Christian Wood could potentially add a little boost there too. Like we said, there's no doubt he's a talented offensive player. It's just
Yeah.
it feels like he's a one-way guy. This is their chance to prove him wrong. And like, look, it reminds me of like a Hachimura type situation of just a guy you bring in, low cost, super high upside if it all works out, and we'll
Mhm.
see what happens.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's a sneaky move, and excited to see and hopefully see it work out.
Yeah. I mean, I think it will. The Lakers are one of those teams that, I mean, I don't know. If it doesn't work with LeBron and AD, it kind of doesn't work
Yeah.
anywhere. We do have to end the show on a pretty unfortunate note. And that's Kevin Porter Jr., who was arrested for domestic violence, is accused of beating up his girlfriend, who plays in the WNBA. There are reports that she has a broken face. There were reports of a rib injury. Either way, this is not great for a guy who is already kind of on his third strike, if you will. Like, I think this is strike 3 probably. Like, the potential has always been there. Like, Kevin Porter Jr., I mean, that if anything is the tragic part, is in Houston it looked like he was going to have a big role. He's finally starting to blossom, right? 19 points, 5
Mhm.
assists last year, 5 boards. Like, he's 22 years old. Like, there's still a lot of potential there. It looked like he could hang in this league if he could just get it together. But, he flamed out of Cleveland, clashed with management, clashed with coaches, and was literally dismissed from the roster. Houston was his lifeline. And I think it's over after this. Like, if these accusations are true, then yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. is a scumbag and he deserves to be out of the league. Like, this is horrifying.
Mhm.
Um, certainly harkens back to the Miles Bridges situation recently. I don't think he's going to be playing this year. I think at the bare minimum right now, and we'll see what happens in terms of the facts, but the initial reports out there and the medical reports and the 911 calls we're seeing is that he assaulted a woman, and that's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, another part of ESPN's reporting is that he signed the 4-year contract extension, which was worth as much as $82.5 million last season.
See ya. Goodbye.
Yeah,
goodbye.
It's only partially guaranteed due to his history of off-court issues. So, if the Rockets were to waive Porter based on the investigation and the conviction, apparently the franchise would be only responsible for $16 million of that guaranteed money on his contract. So, just worth mentioning. We'll see where it goes, but not looking good, at least according to, the reports and social media and what we're seeing from Woj.
Well, like we said, there's nothing sadder in life than wasted talent. And it's here we are again, wasting talent. And the fact that he's been arrested and charged for assault, like, it is no doubt a real deal. Obviously, best to his girlfriend, prayers for her recovery.
And his girlfriend's sister was not happy on social media. I don't know if you saw that. She posted I'll find you. Like, I was like, whoa, like, geez, that's terrifying. But I get it, man. If a family member gets hurt from something like that, I can understand the level of anger.
Yeah, I mean, they've been together for a while. Like we said, it's domestic violence. It's gross. Like, we don't love talking about these stories. No. We have to, and it's absolutely disgusting. Like, I don't feel like we need to hammer that point home anymore. Thank you everybody for listening to the Driving Dish NBA podcast. I promise that's one of the worst notes we'll end it on.
Yeah.
Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. I'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, pretty much, the drill. Anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
Yep. And we are on YouTube if you want to watch it there. The video version, just search Driving Dish NBA on YouTube.